Hi Reddit. Throwaway for obvious reasons. I'm a 29F living in Illinois. I've been debating whether I should even post this, but after what happened at dinner last weekend, I think I need to get it off my chest. So here goes. A few months ago, I finally left what I can only describe as a soul-sucking corporate job at a logistics firm in Chicago. I was working under this micromanaging nightmare of a boss who treated me like I was always one misstep away from being fired. My coworkers were cliquey, HR was useless, and I was so stressed I developed a grinding habit in my sleep that cracked a molar. I felt like I was always performing, always on edge, and the worst part? My family just kept pushing me to stick it out. You've got a good salary. You don't want to look like a quitter. Just hold on, promotions come to those who wait. I tried explaining the emotional toll, but every time I brought it up, it turned into a lecture. My dad would talk about how he worked 14-hour shifts at the refinery in the 90s, and my mom would remind me that everyone hates their job, honey. My sister Claire, 34F, once even said, "It's called work for a reason. If it was fun, they wouldn't pay you." So I stopped talking about it. And when I finally handed in my resignation, I didn't tell anyone. I'd lined up a remote content strategist position at a digital wellness company. The team is small, the leadership is compassionate, and for the first time in years, I don't dread Mondays. I have creative control, flexible hours, and no one yells if I log off at 5:01. My anxiety's dropped, I'm sleeping better, and yeah, the pay is slightly lower, but the peace of mind? Worth every cent. Now here's the thing, I didn't tell my family I'd gotten a new job. At first, I just didn't want to jinx it. Then it became a quiet rebellion. I was sick of being interrogated about my choices. The "how much are you making?" the "is that even a real company?" the "you work from home, so you're not really working." I wanted something, anything, that was mine, without the running commentary. So when they'd ask, "How's work?" I'd just say, "It's good," and pivot. They didn't press, not at first. Then came last Saturday. It was my cousin Maddie's engagement party. Held at Aunt Helen's big craftsman home in Naperville, complete with pastel balloons, a mimosa bar, and the entire extended family dressed like a walking J.Crew catalog. The kind of gathering where someone's always trying to start a fun debate about politics and someone else cries before dessert. I knew I couldn't avoid it forever. But I wasn't expecting the ambush. It started innocuously enough. Claire was showing off her firm's new mobile app and casually said, "I mean, with so many layoffs, I'm just glad I've still got a solid job. Especially since some people don't even have one right now." Her eyes slid to me like a blade. Then my mom joined in. "Speaking of which, sweetheart, are you still doing that freelance writing thing?" I blinked. I was never freelancing. I have a full-time job. My Uncle Grant chimed in from across the table. "You never said where, though. What do you do again?" I took a breath. "I work in digital content strategy. It's remote." My dad frowned. "But for who?" I glanced around. Suddenly, half the table was watching me. I could see my cousin Tyler chewing slower, like even he wanted in on the drama. Claire tilted her head. "You've been so cagey about it, Jess. Are you ashamed of it or something?" And that was the moment. I felt it in my throat. The heat. The edge. The frustration that had been building for months. "No," I said. "I'm not ashamed. I just don't feel like I have to give a PowerPoint presentation every time I make a decision. I love my job. That's enough for me." Silence. Not dramatic silence. Not movie silence. Just weird, suspended silence. The sound of forks pausing. Someone's phone dinged. No one moved. Then my grandma changed the subject, asking if the crab dip had mayo in it because she's cutting dairy again. That night, I left early, claiming I had work the next day. No one said much when I hugged them goodbye. But then around 11 p.m., I got a text from Aunt Helen. "I'm proud of you. I wanted to quit my job in the 80s but didn't have the nerve. I hope you know you didn't do anything wrong. Red heart. I just stared at the screen for a while. And now I can't stop wondering, AITA for not telling my family? Was I being too sensitive? Or were they being too invasive? I don't know. The next morning, I woke up to 3 unread texts and a missed call, all from my mom. The first message, sent at 7:04 a.m., because of course she's up by sunrise, read. Jess, can we talk? I feel like last night was uncomfortable. The second. I'm not mad. I just want to understand why you didn't say anything. Love you. And the third, a classic. Call me when you get a second. Dad says hi. I didn't call. Not immediately. Instead, I got up, made myself a strong cup of coffee, and opened my laptop. My team had a Monday morning Slack thread we called Shoutouts and Gratitude, where everyone tossed in positive vibes and recognized each other's work. I typed a quick thanks to Megan, our UX designer, for cleaning up some confusing flowcharts I'd been wrestling with. Within seconds, she responded with 5 emojis and a "you got this." Flexed biceps. It felt like oxygen. At 10 a.m., I gave in and called my mom. She answered on the first ring. Oh, honey. You're up. Yeah, Mom, it's 10. I know, I just wasn't sure with your schedule. The pause hung like damp laundry between us. So, can we talk? I sighed and sat on the edge of my couch. Sure. She launched in like a lawyer with notes. It's not that we're mad, Jess. We're just confused. You've always shared things with us. Your dance recitals. Your college decision. Even when you got that tattoo freshman year? Which you told everyone I'd regret. But you still told us. That's the point. And now this huge life change, and we find out at a dinner party, like strangers. Your dad was really hurt. Mom, I said gently, I didn't say I was unemployed. I said I was working. I never lied. No, but you didn't tell the truth either, not fully. There it was. The guilt trap. She had a way of spinning things, so I always felt like I'd failed some unspoken family expectation. That I owed transparency as some kind of tribute to the family unit. I didn't want to talk about it because every time I do, it turns into 20 questions about salary, benefits, retirement plans. Well, those are important. Maybe, but I wanted to just enjoy it. For myself. I needed it to be mine. Another pause. You think we're too judgmental, she said finally. I didn't answer. But she knew. After we hung up, I spent the rest of the day dodging messages in the family group chat. Claire sent a meme of a cat falling off a laptop with the caption, WFH struggles LOL, clearly aimed at me. My dad sent a thumbs up emoji when someone mentioned the Bears. I kept it muted. Then Wednesday came around, and Aunt Helen called. Now, Aunt Helen is unlike the rest of my family. She's in her late 50s, divorced, once took a sabbatical in her 40s to rediscover her artistic instincts. She painted 3 canvases and adopted a bulldog named Oscar. She's the one who first taught me what kombucha was and convinced me to read Cheryl Strayed. When I picked up, she didn't waste time. You okay? I exhaled. I think so. I saw your mom at Trader Joe's. She's still doing that thing where she clutches her chest like someone betrayed her trust. I snorted. That sounds about right. She thinks you don't like us anymore. That's not true. I know. But I think it's the first time you said no to her. That gave me pause. I searched for the right word. She makes it about her. Always. Like if I don't share every detail, it means I'm hiding something or I don't trust her. She was raised to believe secrets are bad, Helen said. But that doesn't mean she's right. Then she added, I meant what I texted you. I stayed at that admin job at the township for 22 years longer than I should have because I was scared. I used to fantasize about quitting. But I kept telling myself, what if people judged me? What if I looked lazy? What if I failed? What changed? My gallbladder exploded, she said flatly. Literally. Emergency surgery. 2 weeks in recovery. I lay there thinking, am I really going to die with spreadsheets in my inbox? And I never went back. We both laughed, but the laugh turned into something heavier. Jess, she said. You did what most people can't. You jumped. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for that. Including your mom. Later that night, I finally replied in the group chat. Claire had sent another sarcastic meme, and someone had dropped a photo of Maddie in her engagement dress again. I typed. Just FYI, I got a new job 2 months ago. It's fully remote. I'm happy. That's all I'll say. Love you guys. No one responded for an hour. Then Tyler sent, wait, you work from home and get paid? Legend. Followed by Maddie, congrats. Redheart, can't wait to hear more when you want to share. Even Claire just wrote, okay. Cool. It wasn't fanfare. But it wasn't a war either. For the first time, I felt like I'd drawn a line in the sand, and no one crossed it. By the end of the week, the dust had mostly settled. Mostly. On Thursday evening, I got a call from my dad. Which was rare, usually, it's my mom dialing, with him in the background yelling opinions at the speakerphone like it's a town hall. But this time, it was just him. His name lit up my screen, and for a second I considered ignoring it. Then I sighed and answered. Hey, Dad. Hey, Jessie. You got a second? I muted the jazz playlist coming from my laptop and leaned back into the couch. Sure. Long pause. I could hear him breathing, and the low hum of some sports commentary on his end, probably ESPN. Then. I didn't mean to make you feel cornered the other night. That made me sit up straighter. Dad, apologizing? He continued. We're old school. Your mom and I, we didn't grow up with this idea that you could, work from a couch and still pay rent. I smiled faintly. I don't work from the couch all the time. You know what I mean. It's just new. Remote this, digital that. It's hard for us to understand. That doesn't mean we don't respect it. We're just trying to catch up. He cleared his throat. And I get that maybe we ask too many questions. Your mom especially. You know how she is. Everything's gotta be in a folder and explained in triplicate. I laughed. Yeah. She once made me print out my college syllabus for her. Exactly. So when you didn't say anything, she took it personally. Thought it meant you didn't trust us. I rubbed my temple. It wasn't about trust. It was about peace. Maybe next time, he said, just say that. We're not mind readers, Jess. Fair. But I wasn't ready to promise anything either. Thanks for calling, I said after a pause. He grunted, which in dad speak means you're welcome. After that, things found a strange new rhythm. Claire stopped making snide little WFH comments. Mom still sent the occasional link to career resources. Just thought you'd like this article on building retirement savings, but the aggressive curiosity dulled to a background hum. Then something strange happened. 3 weeks after the dinner, almost to the day, I got a DM on Instagram from someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Mallory Tran. She and I went to college together. We weren't best friends, but we had overlapping classes and a few mutual friends. She'd been kind of intense, one of those driven, straight A types who always had 3 internships running simultaneously and still showed up to class looking like a fashion blog. Her message read, Hey Jess. Saw your post about working in digital strategy now. I've been looking to make a similar leap and I'd love to pick your brain if you're open to it, smiley face. I stared at the message for a full minute. My post? Then I remembered, I had shared a single vague work update on my Instagram story a few days prior, a photo of my desk, a little caption, learning to love Mondays again. Apparently that had ripple effects. I messaged her back and we set up a Zoom. What followed was a 40-minute conversation where she admitted she was burned out at her marketing agency and had been quietly stalking job boards for months but didn't know how to pivot. "I feel stuck," she said. "Everyone thinks I'm doing great. I make good money. But I'm so tired. Every time I try to talk to my mom about leaving, she just says I'm being dramatic. That I should be grateful." I smiled sadly. "You're not alone." It was like I'd been given a new identity, not just a person who switched jobs, but someone who gave other people permission to imagine it too. In the weeks that followed, it kept happening. A former colleague messaged me on LinkedIn asking how I negotiated remote flexibility. A girl I met once at a networking event DMED to ask what content strategy even was. Even my neighbor's niece, who I barely know, emailed me a list of questions about how I knew it was time to quit. Each time, I answered. Not because I wanted to be a guru or whatever, but because it felt like I had accidentally cracked a door open, and people wanted to peek through. And in some quiet, unexpected way, it healed something in me. That guilt I'd been holding for not oversharing with my family? It loosened. Because I realized something. I don't owe everyone a full explanation. But sharing on my terms, with the people I choose, felt powerful. One afternoon in early May, I came home from a walk to find a small envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Just my name in soft blue ink. Inside was a folded note card. "Jess. You probably don't realize how many people you've helped just by being honest about your choices. You made space for more than just yourself. Love. A friend." No signature. I still don't know who sent it. But I keep it taped to the inside of my closet door. Because for the first time in years, I feel like my life is mine. A few days after I got the anonymous note, I was invited to another family event. This time, a barbecue at Claire's house, an annual thing she and her husband throw every summer: lawn chairs, beer coolers, too much corn on the cob, and at least one heated debate about property taxes. Claire had texted me earlier in the week. "Barbecue Saturday. Bring potato salad or that quinoa stuff you made once. Mom's asking if you'll come. No pressure, but you know she'll pout if you don't." I sat with it for a while before replying. "I'll come. I'll bring both." It wasn't that I was dreading seeing them, not anymore. But I still felt like I was on the edge of something. Like I'd redrawn my outline, but people were still adjusting to the new shape. Saturday arrived hot and bright, the kind of Midwest summer day where everything feels sticky and loud. I showed up with a giant bowl of lemon quinoa salad in one hand and store-bought potato salad in the other. Claire greeted me at the door, wearing a Cubs cap and looking mildly surprised that I actually came. "Hey, stranger," she said. "Still working your mysterious laptop job?" I smiled without flinching. "Still getting paid every 2 weeks like clockwork." She snorted and waved me inside. The house was full, the usual crowd. Cousins, in-laws, second cousins, neighbor kids running around with popsicles. Mom was in the kitchen, refilling iced tea pitchers. When she saw me, her face did that brief flicker, the way she smiles while scanning for something to critique. But all she said was, "Glad you made it, sweetheart. We saved you a chair under the umbrella." We went through the usual barbecue motions: hot dogs, lawn games, someone's toddler crying because the dog stole their juice box. It was easy, even nice. I sat next to Aunt Helen for most of the afternoon, sipping lemonade and talking about nothing. It wasn't until we were all seated in the backyard with plates of dessert that the shift happened. My cousin Kyle, who's known for being a little too nosy and a little too loud, was mid-story about his boss being a total psycho when he turned to me and said, "Actually, Jess, didn't you quit your job or something? That was, like, a whole thing?" I blinked. The table quieted slightly. Claire chimed in before I could speak. "Yeah, she works remote now. Some digital something. I don't know, but it seems to make her less cranky, so good on her." A few people chuckled. I looked at Claire, really looked at her. Her tone was different this time. Not mocking. More like resigned acceptance, maybe even a weird sisterly approval. I smiled. Yeah. It's been a good change. My mom looked up from her slice of angel food cake and said, she's got her own routine now. She even set up an office in her apartment. With plants. There was a tone of pride buried in her voice, subtle, but there. She was trying. This was her version of support. That's cool, Kyle said. I couldn't do remote. I'd just end up in my boxers watching TikToks. Someone laughed, and the moment passed. But something else had settled. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I wasn't on the defense. No one asked what my salary was. No one poked at the legitimacy of my job. I wasn't performing. I was just me. Later that evening, while helping carry chairs back into the garage, Claire pulled me aside. I owe you an apology, she said. I raised an eyebrow. For what? For being a condescending jerk. I made fun of you because I didn't get it. Honestly, I still don't. But, she hesitated. I guess it's cool you did something different. Even if I don't understand it. Thanks, I said. That means more than you think. Then she added, and I'm sorry for the meme. The cat one. We both laughed. After I loaded up my car with the empty salad bowls and leftover lemonade bottles, my mom came over and hugged me longer than usual. Next time, she said softly, you don't have to hide. Okay? I wasn't hiding, I said. I was protecting my peace. She nodded, but didn't argue. As I drove home, windows down, wind in my hair, I realized something that hadn't been obvious before. People might not change overnight, but they can learn. They can adjust. They can soften. And maybe, just maybe, I had underestimated them. It's been about 2 months since the barbecue. My family and we've found a new rhythm. Not perfect, not always graceful, but different. Better. There are still hiccups. My mom occasionally forwards me articles with titles like, Is Remote Work Killing Ambition? Or sends me links to local offices hiring, followed immediately by, Just in case you ever change your mind, red heart. I don't take the bait anymore. I either don't reply or just hit her with a thumbs up emoji. She's learning. I'm learning. We're all figuring out how to communicate without stepping on each other's shadows. A few weeks ago, I got promoted. Officially, senior content strategist. Unofficially, I now lead 2 junior writers and oversee a full content vertical. It came with a pay bump, expanded health coverage, and a bonus I didn't expect. The CEO personally called to tell me they valued my leadership style. I cried after that Zoom. Not because of the title or the money, but because it felt like someone saw me. No disclaimers. No second guessing. Just recognition. And this time, I didn't tell my family right away. Not because I was hiding it. Because I didn't need to tell them. I told Megan from UX, who sent me a Starbucks gift card. I told Aunt Helen, who replied with hell yes you did, clapping hands. I told Mallory, who recently quit her job and now freelances with me part-time. She said I inspired her. That she rereads our old messages when she feels herself slipping back into fear. Eventually, I did tell my mom. I brought it up casually over lunch. She blinked, surprised. You got promoted? Yep. To what? I shrugged. Senior content strategist. Is that a big deal? It is to me. She nodded slowly. Well. I'm proud of you. It came out quieter than I expected. But it was enough. That night, I got another text from Aunt Helen. You know what I realized? You taught us all something. That boundaries aren't walls, they're doors you get to lock or open. Your terms. Your key. That's brave, Jess. I stared at the message for a long time. Because here's the thing. I used to think sharing was the price of belonging. That in order to stay connected to people, I had to open every drawer, reveal every thought, offer every piece of myself like it was a potluck and I better bring enough. But now I know better. I can be close with people and still keep pieces of me for myself. I can love my family and still say, no, not this part. This one's just for me. And that doesn't make me cold or secretive or ungrateful. It makes me whole. Sometimes people say growth feels like blooming. But honestly? Sometimes it feels like building a room inside yourself, one with thick walls and quiet lighting, and learning that you don't have to invite everyone in. Some things can just be yours. Your peace. Your progress. Your story. And if someone calls that hiding? Let them. You know the truth.